And we're rolling. So as I mentioned today, this is ODZ Chat and Chill, Monday recovery pace ride. We roll steady 1.5 to 2 watts per kilogram. Welcome everyone. Lots of people on Discord. Great to see everybody here. We are in Richmond today. We don't seem to ride in Richmond much anymore. So it's actually a nice change. I'm just checking the stream now. Cool, we're on. We have quite a few people on Facebook as well. Morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. So we have a very special guest today to talk to us. We have Tanja Erath. She is the, hello, she's the winner of the 2017 Zwift Academy. Welcome, Tanja.
Hello.
So everyone on Facebook and Discord, YouTube, Twitch, please type in your questions, comments. I'm happy to bring those in to the stream. And just really excited, Tanja. I mean, the announcement just came out last Wednesday. So this probably has been very busy couple of days for you.
Yes, that's true. I mean, I'm not used to giving interviews and doing all this pro stuff, I guess. So that was, everything was quite new. And I did a track race on Saturday, so I wasn't even at home and had to do all that with my phone. But yeah, I feel like I'm getting used to it a little bit at least.
Yes, I can imagine. And I saw too that there are quite a few magazines that published the news, Cycling News, the Bicycle Magazine, and some others. Yeah. And then, of course, the announcement from Kenyans Run. So congratulations, first of all. It is an amazing achievement. I mean, you signed up along with over 2,000 women who signed up for Zwift Academy. So to be the winner is a great achievement. Yeah. So Tanja, maybe go ahead.
I never expected it to that I could make it to the win, but it's just like the process went on, and then it was like the semifinals. I was super happy to finally get my own indoor trainer. Then it was like, okay, you're in the finals, and I knew, okay, I'm gonna join a training camp, even though it's just in Germany, so I stay at home. And then suddenly there was the announcement, and I was told I'm the winner. So that was, and it still feels a little bit untrue, unreal, unbelievable.
Right, yeah. And so a little bit of background for those of you who don't know Tanja. Tanja just finished her degree in medicine, literally, right? A few weeks ago?
Yes, it was sort of bad timing. I mean, it's good timing now because I'm just like, I'm finished. I do not have to quit a job or anything. But I had my final exam right in between the semifinals. The semifinals were from the 1st to the 14th of November. And I had my final exam on the 7th and 8th. So it was 2 stressful weeks, really.
Wow, I can imagine. Yeah, there's a lot of pressure from the exam and then having the Zwift Academy going on. Wow.
Yes, and you want to do well in both because on the one hand you have your 6 years of studying and you want to pass the exam and want to do well, and on the other hand you have that big chance of making it to the Zwift Academy finals and you want to do well there too. So yeah, it was hard to get your priorities straight.
Hmm. Well, you did both great. So, and then, so maybe, and I'm really excited to hear about how you got into Zwift and the academy and the story about the trainer. But why don't we start a little bit earlier than that in the timeline? A little bit of history of you as an athlete. So I understand that you have a background in triathlon. You've been doing triathlons for many, many, many years. Did you start
Yes.
early? Did you start in your teens?
Sorry?
Did you start doing triathlons early on, around when you were maybe 15 years old? Was it
I was
super
11
early?
years old. I was 11
Oh,
years old.
wow.
Yes, it was quite early. But my dad always wanted to get my sister and me in a sport, and we were trying a lot like athletics and karate and everything, and then we just like stuck on triathlon because we just like the team and we just like the sports. And my parents always used to ride their bikes, and so that kind of fitted. And yeah, then I really stuck on triathlon.
So you pretty much grew up doing sports and triathlons. And did you race? Did you compete as a
Yes,
triathlete?
I started racing quite early too. So I was just like a half year of training, and then I did my first small races as you do it as a child or like a teen. Um, and yeah, then I developed further and further and started to race the German National League and started to do middle distance races.
Amazing.
Yes.
And did you work with a coach for triathlons?
I The first time I started to work with the coach was 2014, and so for a long time I only did like training that I thought was good for me. And then yeah, as I said, I processed further and further, and I thought maybe it's better to just like, yeah, having but somebody telling me what I should do or what is good, especially because besides the studying, it was, yeah, I was short in time, so I thought it's maybe better if somebody really, yeah, sorts your
Yes.
training out and tells you how you can, or in a fast time, can get good. And that's when I started, but I finished doing that in 2015 because I had like a little bit of motivation issues because it was a lot of pressure in studying and some pressure in the sports, and both of it just became too much. And so I got myself a little bit out of the sports and gained energy back and started again with the trainer in or with the coach in 2016 then, and that's still my coach. He's called Utz Brenner, and he's normally doing triathlon or triathletes, but he said that he's gonna switch to cycling with me and yeah, give it a go.
And I can see how um, it's helpful. It was helpful to have somebody to coach you through your schedule to make it all sort of fit in and also take the pressure out of you having to think about what you had to do, how much, etc. on in terms of training. So then,
Yeah, exactly.
how was the transition between triathlon and cycling? How did that happen, or why did that happen?
It happened because I had a leg injury. I don't know what it was. I don't know now until now what it was, but I had problems with the running, and at the end I could like run 200 meters without pain. So um, the competitions weren't possible anymore because I had to run 21K, and I couldn't train anymore. So I decided to give cycling a go since it's always been my best or strongest discipline, and I really loved racing my bike. So I started in fixed gear racing because a friend of mine told me that maybe this would work out good for me.
All fixed gear racing, interesting. And I have
Yes.
a I have a question here from Andy. Just on the topic of having the coach who's going to transition with you. Is this something that Kenyans Run is okay with? So in other words, they're accommodating if you want to bring your own coach, or do they want you to use their own coach? Do you know?
It's like Kenyans Run is working, like we have like our sports director, but he's like the supervisor, and every one of the girls has their own coach. And
Yeah.
so they were totally okay with me staying with my coach since he knows me. And I think trust is a big thing with your coach. And I really trust him. I know that he wants me to do or to be the best rider I can be. And it's not like he never did or never coached cyclists. He did that before he switched totally to triathlon, and so he knows what he does. And the sports director is just in contact with my coach, and they're doing it together. Sort of, it's like a triangle. If that's
Sure.
the right word.
Yeah, and I have no doubts of that. I mean, look at the results, right, with you. So I'm sure he's outstanding.
I hope.
And so then, when we're talking about the bike and the fixed gear and transitioning into that, so which year was that? Was that 2015, 16?
It was the end of 2016. I did my first fixed gear race um, in in September. Oh, now I hear myself. Sorry.
Oh, should be good now.
Okay. Uh, um, there's some sound. Sorry. Now it's off. Um, yeah, I did my first fixed gear race in September 2016. Um, and then I started right into the to a whole fixed gear season with the whole retro crits. I don't know if you know that this. It's like a fixed gear um, sort of world championships with 4 races all around the globe. In
Oh,
the first race in Brooklyn, second race in London, third race in Barcelona, and the last race in Milan. Um, so I did that and a lot of racing in the Netherlands and some fixed gear crits in Germany.
sounds exciting. And
Yes.
then, how did Zwift Academy come in your life? Was this something that came into
Um,
your radar in 2016 or just this year?
yes, yes, I heard about it like a ex teammate of me told me about the academy because she knew that I was really yeah sad about my leg injury and not being able to compete in the sport that I loved so much anymore. And then she heard about the Swift Academy and thought that this might be like a good pusher for me and maybe a chance to give it a go in cycling. And when she told me about it in 2016, it was already too late to enroll. So I thought that I could maybe try in 2017. So it was like my end of the season goal to go for the Swift Academy.
So did you then, once you decided you were going to do that in 2017, did you specifically train for it?
No, I mean, I got the Swift account like I think 2 months or 3 months earlier to do at least some Swifting, so I'm used to that. But I never had my own indoor trainer, so I had to borrow one of a friend for the Swift Academy. So didn't do a lot of indoor training at that time, and since I had like a yeah I did like 1 or 2 races every weekend, so I had like a tough schedule. So I couldn't really concentrate on the Swift Academy as a goal. But I thought that if I'm fit in the end of the season, I should I should do well. And yeah, I yeah
Right, because then at the end of your season, you had built all that fitness, right? You had done all your training for the season. So you were
yes
probably at peak performance at that point. So then what you did, you carried that forward into the academy.
yeah exactly. That's what I did. It was just like um, one of my best retro crits in Barcelona where I could achieve a podium was like right at the start of the like first round of the Swift Academy. and then it carried on till the last retrocrit in Milan. And after that, I did the last race in Milan, and then that was just like 2 weeks until the semifinals came up. So I
Oh,
just had
wow.
to carry through and just like stay fit and yeah.
Good thing you had a coach then helping you with that because, yeah, to be able to be at your peak performance for so long without fatiguing, without overtraining. So, yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
And
exactly. This was really helpful, especially because I started my first race in January. So it was like, and I did my last race like this weekend. So it was like nearly a 12 month of a season. And besides that, I just like, had like a full-time job, and I worked in four different hospitals and had to move like 3 times because it's just like how the studying works in Germany. So we have to switch between the hospitals. And so it was like a tough year, and I'm
oh,
really glad that my coach just helped me to get through it and not to tire.
sure. And I have a comment coming here through Facebook from Willemjen saying that you're amazing. As his father always told him that he wasn't going to be able to combine cycling with his medical studies. So he's also a medical student, I guess, or a doctor, since it was too hard with the night shifts, just like you said. So,
Yeah.
and so now, his question is, so you're going to become obviously, full time pro cyclist, and then
Yes.
eventually, I guess, get back to being a doctor. Is that the plan, or is that too early to say?
Um, I think, I just like I have to look how the first year of pro cycling will work out. Maybe I will see that I'm not good enough. Maybe I'll see that I do not like it. I mean, it could happen that I just like don't like to be that far away from home for a long time because I'm moving to Spain, or that I do not like the traveling, or that I do not like the pressure. I don't know, because I never
Yes.
did it. So
Yeah.
I
Right.
have to see how all this works out. I mean, I'm really looking forward to it, and I think I'm gonna love it, but I'm not sure about it. And
Sure.
so it kind of depends on how the first year works. And as we saw on Leah, she got her contract for 2018 again. So I have no like time limit now. I just saw it like as a last chance of getting into pro cycling. And if it wouldn't have worked out, so I wouldn't have won the academy, I would have started working in January, I guess. Um, but now I just give me like this 1 year contract and see how all this works, and then I'll just like re-evaluate it and
That makes
see
perfect
if
sense.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, sure. And so, did you ever have anyone approach you during your races, your crits? Any pro teams approach you to say, "Oh my gosh, you're such a talent. Are you interested in joining a team?"
Well, yes, it's in the end of the no road racing team, but like the fixed gear scene is growing bigger and bigger. And I had a few teams asking me after the season or within the season of joining them. But I'm in a small team of my or the town where I live now. It's like the team of my boyfriend. So we're just like 4 races, and I think I would have stayed with them because it's just like I love these people and it's really fun to race with them. And yeah, I mean, you
Hmm.
never earn money with it. It's just like I'm happy if I have a fixed gear bike that I can ride on. And this works out with the small team too. And since I love the people, I would have stayed with them.
Sure. Awesome. Well, thanks for that answer. And then going back to um, your trainer that you borrowed from your friend, and when you started
Yes.
Zwift Academy, so you were training mostly outdoors. You started Zwifting perhaps 2, 3 months before the start of the academy, so you could get used to indoor riding and training and Zwift itself. So
Yeah.
how were the workouts? How did you? Because I guess you've been then doing all your workouts outdoors, right? Until that point.
Yes, that's true.
So
They were,
yeah,
yeah, they were quite challenging. So I mean, it was like the first. I'm not sure if you know, like what the workouts were like. You had to do like 15 workouts in the first round, and it was like 5 group rides. So that was easy. That was good. 2 races. And since I never did a Swift race before, I was really surprised how hard I can push myself in my little room on my bike indoors. Um, so that was great. And I really loved the racing. And then we had like, now I have to, I think seven workouts. Then it was, or 8. Uh, and they were quite challenging. I think that was like one of the toughest workouts that I ever did in my life, I can say. So some of them were okay, and some of them were really, really challenging. But I like to challenge myself, so that was quite nice. And I had the feeling that throughout the Zwift Academy, I became even fitter than I've been throughout the year, and I have not been unfit. So that was really cool.
sure. Yeah, so I am familiar with the workouts that were in the academy, at least in the first round, and they
Yes.
were very hard. And there was a Facebook group for Zwift Academy, and if you read all the messages, about what people thought of the workouts, everybody had the same comment. Everybody
Yeah.
had the same opinion on how hard they were, and there was a lot of discussions about, oh, maybe I didn't get my stars in the workout, and a lot of people were worried about that. Did you worry about stars at all?
Yeah, I like you never have like an idea of where you stand right now. So I wasn't sure, do I have to get all the stars? Do I only have to push high numbers? So I worried a lot. I did a lot of Strava stalking at that time, watching how the other girls do. Um, I talked a lot to the friend of mine who borrowed me the trainers, and to my boyfriend. Um, and it was just like I was worrying a lot because I want to do well. So I really understand it. And there was this one workout. I think it was called race prep
Uh-huh.
workout, and you had like to push into sprints. I think about
The 24 sprints at the end.
yes, that was it. And I was just like,
That's
I held it until the end because I was so afraid of that workout. That was just like it was the worst. But in the end, when I did it, I was so super happy. That was perfect.
that was workout number 5. That's I know it's the number because again there was a lot of discussion about that workout with the sprints at the end. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, now I think that they only wanted to see if you're mentally can do it. Like if you're yeah, I think they weren't looking at the numbers, but just like going mentally through the 4 times of sprinting. I guess that's just what I guess. I don't know it.
well, then you advanced. You got the kicker, which I guess was it much different than the trainer that you had borrowed?
Yes, it was totally different because I had borrowed like an old one where you can just like handle the
Resistance.
level of resistance with like that bar thing in your hand. So it was like
Yeah.
really an old one. And suddenly I had that great kicker. Um, and I first had some technical issues because it's just like tough setting all this up. Um, but as soon as it worked out, it was just like it was silent. It was smooth. I had an ERG mode, so that was perfect.
Hmm. Sure. And then, so tell us about the camp in Germany. How was the camp in like overall when you got there? What are some of the things that you did at the camp, and how long was the camp? I guess is the first question.
It was 5 days, I guess. Yes, 5 days. Um, for me, it was no long traveling. For the other girls, it was different. I think Bree, the girl from Seattle, she had like a 9-hour flight. and Siri, the girl from Norway, she had a flight about 3 hours, and I just stepped on the train for like 2.5 hours. So, and I'm a little bit common with the area around there because it's just in between where I live now and where my parents live. So I always, when I ride home with the train, I just like ride through the area. And yeah, we started on the first day like a little bit easy, just like getting to know the girls. They were at SRAM in Schweinfurt, that's in Germany too, and they were coming late to the hotel, like at I think 2 o'clock. So we were already there for a few hours, and just like yeah, I mean, at first it's just like everything is overwhelming because until the point when you come to the camp, you still do not really believe that this is happening and this is real. And then suddenly you get to know all these people that you only know from Instagram and from watching races. So the first day was just, for me, just overwhelming, and I felt a little bit scared, a little bit stressed out, I guess. Um, yeah, and then it became like more comfortable with every day and with getting to know the girls better. And
So what kind of, tell us about the
yeah,
rides that you guys did.
yeah, we did some mountain bike riding. That was what scared me the most because I'm not used to riding a mountain bike. I never had one, and just like when I visited my parents, I could like borrow the one from my mom. Um, so it was like I was riding a mountain bike for maybe 10 to 15 times in my life, and suddenly you know that you have to ride with a former world champion in mountain biking. So that was scaring, but yeah, after being like the first 20 minutes on the bike, it felt good. The girls were supportive. It was just nice and not as cold as road racing because we had snow in Koblenz where we stayed in Germany. So I think road racing would have been or road cycling would have been yeah, not a good decision.
Oh, so you then, during camp in Germany, you didn't do anything on the road?
We did on the last day. That was like a sort of a tactical challenge that we had to do. We had to do a lead out and then change the roles and wear the sprinter. So first I had to do a lead out for Tiffany, and in the second round, Hannah Barnes did a lead out for me. And they wanted just like to see how you work in the peloton, how you react on attacks, and how you can just like yeah. Trust your teammate doing the lead out for you, or how you can work for your teammate that you do the lead out for.
Yeah. And I read in the Kenyans Run press release that they were very impressed by your performance on that specific lead out. So I'm sure it
Yeah,
was,
yeah,
yeah.
they told me. Um, yeah, it was like I was really scared of that challenge because I in the fixed gear racing and in the other races I've always been the only girl. I've always been on teams with only boys, so I've never been a team racer. I only had to race for my own position. So I wasn't
Uh-huh.
sure if I can do that for like, or am I doing good in it? And
Interesting.
but it worked out. It worked out very good because like Tiffany and I, we talked a lot before we started. I mean, you were able to just like yeah talk. So yeah, we made a plan, and that it just worked out very well. I think communication is a good thing in that lead out and tactical stuff. So it worked out better than I imagined. Yeah.
So overall, very positive experience, right? From what I'm hearing from you.
Yeah, totally. It was super fun. I mean, sure, it was like intimidating in the first 2 days, and you go like into a group. Everybody knows everybody very very well, and they're just like a small team, and very familiar with themselves. And suddenly you come in there, and it's like every first day in a hospital that I got to know like you feel strange at first,
Hmm.
and then it's just getting natural and it's just getting normal. And I mean, the girls are great. So, yeah, in
Right.
the end, it just felt really good.
So throughout the process for Zwift Academy, what were the biggest challenges for you? And I
I
think you
think,
told us one of them already, which was
yeah,
balancing,
the
right?
race, yeah,
School. Yeah.
the race prep session was tough. The one with the 24 sprints. And yeah, like just like doing my schedule, just like setting priorities, and yeah, I mean, throughout the first round, I still worked out. I still worked full time, so it was just like hard to have, yeah, this um, the timeline to have done this and that workout until that day. Um, so I guess that was the most challenging thing for me about the academy. And yeah, the semifinals for me were tough because of the exam, and yeah, became ill right before the exam, so I wasn't sure if I'm able um, to do the workouts, because yeah, I'm since I'm a doctor now, I know that it's not good to do tough workouts if you're ill, and yeah, so I wouldn't risk anything, even though it's a big chance, but I think your health is more important. So I wasn't sure if I can make the workouts if I'm not becoming healthy throughout the time.
Sure. How about during the camp? Was there anything that was stressful in terms of the training itself or the camp itself, or did you have any moments or any time that you thought, oh gosh, this is not going to happen, or um, this is too hard? Anything like that?
Yeah, well, the most stressful part for me in the camp was the go-kart. We went for a go-kart ride or race, and that was like one of the worst experiences of my life because I'm not a good car driver. I have to admit that. And racing this go-kart very fast around the course, it was just like I never felt comfortable. I only felt scared. And then Matt from GCN, Matt Stevens, he even
Hmm.
broke his rib because he crashed. So I was really afraid. So that was like the worst part of the camp for me. It should have been fun, but if you do not like motor racing, I think it's not fun at all.
Right.
Um,
Oh
yeah, and as I
wow.
said, like the tactical challenge, that was scary because I wasn't sure if I can do it well, so that was
Mhm.
scary. And yeah, the Swift race, because I knew that Siri is quite familiar with Swift racing, and Bree and we were just like racing the two races we had to do for the Swift Academy. So I wasn't sure how the Swift race works out for us three.
Did you finish in a podium in the Zwift race? The ones that you did?
I'm not sure because I didn't look on the Swift Power
Okay,
result.
that was just
Um,
curiosity. Okay.
sorry. Um,
Yeah.
it was just like there was like a point that was a really. I mean, it can happen in every race, but I had some issues. I right from the start, I could set myself into the lead group, and then I suddenly had a dropout, and my watts went down to 0, and I lost the contact to the lead group. And I thought maybe I can get them back, but I couldn't because I already lost like 15 seconds till my power meter um, re-adopted again to the Swift. And yeah, at that point I thought, shit, that doesn't work out. But yeah, in the end it still worked out. And in the end they told me that they really liked my behavior at that point because this is something that can happen in a normal race too. You can crash, you can have a flat tire, you can have any other issue, and you just have to keep on riding. and they liked that I didn't think or say anything. I just kept on riding. So
Right.
yeah. I think in
Yeah.
the
You
end
just like picked up and kept going.
yeah, and in the end that issue that I had was just like a good thing for me because they saw that I just go on.
Yeah. Right. That's a good point. It's all about the attitude, um, and because it's obviously not only about bike handling skills and being strong on the bike. It's also having the personality. It's also having the behaviors that would make it for a well-rounded racer. So obviously, you seem to have all of those. Um,
I hope.
so, so if you were assessing yourself, what would you say is your strength as a cyclist and your weakness as a cyclist?
I think my strength as a cyclist is that I can really uh, pace myself well. I think that's a thing that I learned from triathlon. How hard I can go from the front and still keep the pace till the end. Um, and I think a weakness is my descending. I'm I crashed heavy when I was 16 years old in a descending, and since that I'm quite scared. It's getting better, and it's getting better with fixed gear racing because I'm just like feeling more comfy in corners and on a high speed. But that's like a big weakness, and I think I should lose some weight for the climbing because I'm not like a skinny person. I'm more like, if we can say it positive, I'm more like a strong rider. Um, but I think I should do some weight for the climbing part. I think the climbing and the descending is my weakness. Yes.
Okay. Well, you have plenty of opportunities about descending, and I remember when we had a chat and chill here with Leah a couple weeks ago, and she was telling us about the descents. It's so hard because they're so fast. You're close to others. You're going at 45, 50 miles per hour or more. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever
Yeah,
done
that's
more than 35 miles an hour or
yeah.
40.
I'm not sure because I don't think in miles, but
Oh,
um,
sure, the kilometers, yeah,
yeah, but it sounds fast.
right. And so um, and so you mentioned that now that you're a doctor and also a racer, and you've been an athlete for so long. What is your, let's say, just give us an overview of what you like to eat on a bike. Some
Mhm.
examples of foods that you eat
That's
and what you
that's
drink on
a
the bike.
yeah, that's another weakness on the bike. I I do barely eat when I cycle. My coach hates me for that. Um, and I have to change it, I know. But it's like if I ride my bike, I'm I don't feel hungry and I don't feel thirsty. And I always take like a bottle of water with me. And then I come home with a bottle of full of water because I forget about drinking, I forget about eating. Um, so I need a reminder for that. My boyfriend, if I ride with my boyfriend, he always tells me, drink something, and then I do it. But normally, I do not eat and I do not drink a lot on the bike. But I should change it. It's not good. Don't do it like me. No.
Well, that
But in
that tells me though that it's a lot of it's really mental, right? It's your mental focus and strength that's there for you. It's not because I think so many people, especially master racers, have this worry about everything and what's the ratio of the carb to protein that I have to do and this and how many grams an hour and all of those things. So wow, it's amazing that you race and you do all of those things with and without even thinking about where you have to drink or eat. How about
Well,
long events?
yeah,
Have you done
in
the long
racing,
ones?
yeah, in racing it's a little bit different. Like that was just like my training style of eating. But in racing it's different. Like I'm as a triathlete, I used to do middle distance races, so it's 19 kilometers of cycling and 21 kilometers of running. I don't know the miles, sorry. And I used to eat a gel every 30 minutes um, on the bike, and I took two gels with me for the run. And after the first races, I recognized that I had like stomach issues because of all this gel. So I switched to every half an hour a gel, and the next half an hour half of a bar. And that worked out perfect for me. And I drank some Coke on the run. So that was how I nutrited myself during a middle distance triathlon. And in cycling, um, I only did like the longest race I did was a 180K time trial in a relay for an Ironman. And that there I did it like the same. I did a gel every half an hour, but I recognized that that was too little or too less, and I started to go for every 20 minutes. Yeah, so that's how I do it in racing. And in fixed gear races, because they're just so short, I mean, it's like 40 minutes of racing. I
Yeah.
just take a gel half an hour before starting. Um, yeah, and that works out well for me. And you can't, in fixed gear racing, you do not have a bottle cage, so you can't drink anyhow. So, yeah,
Ah, right. Makes sense. Yeah. How
yes.
about for recovery? What do you do to recover from the stress of all that heavy training?
Yeah,
What are some of your favorite things to do?
again, a big weakness of mine. Um, I'm I'm looking forward to concentrate more on that part because I mean as a yeah, a lot of you will know it's just like tough to work out and to do recovery stuff if you have like a full schedule of working full time, maybe kids or family. So yeah, I think my recovery was most of the time like the time I spent with my boyfriend, maybe like uh, watching Netflix and just like putting the legs up. But yeah, I um, never did something like yoga or a lot of leg rolling or something because it was just like not that much time. So I was happy that I put my training into my schedule and did not that much about recovery. But
Hmm.
I will change that in next year.
How about cross training? Because you, of course, have a triathlon background, now only cycling. Do you keep doing anything else off the bike in terms of training?
Yeah, yeah, this is a point that I do. I in winter I go a lot to the gym, doing some strength training, also with the like squats with the weights, and sorry, just like the gym. I never talked about a gym in English, so
Oh, that's
I
it.
don't
No, that
have the
makes
word
perfect
for it.
sense. Yeah, the squats
Yeah,
and just weightlifting, right?
yeah, exactly. And uh, throughout the whole year, throughout the whole season, I'm doing like core training. I guess that's the word for it. Um, yeah, just like maybe two or three times every week.
Mhm.
And and I still kept on swimming in the winter. So I think that was good. I just did like two times of swimming every week. So that was kind of my core session too.
Right. I told this group here in this ride before how when I started doing core every day, my life
Yeah.
changed on the bike and
Yes.
off the bike. So,
Yes.
and I run the along with other coaches I run the endurance lab, and core is one of the things that I prescribe for all the athletes because it's really important.
It really is. And especially just like to prevent yourself from injuries, it's like a big thing. Yeah. You should really do that. Even though your schedule is full, core sessions are
Right.
very, yeah, that's true.
It becomes a habit. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So
you just
let's,
need to get used to it. Yeah, just like to get it in your daily life because it's just like, I mean, 15 minutes um are okay. I mean, you do not have to do like in a 1 hour core session or something.
right,
If you do like
right.
15 minutes and maybe more often, it will work out and you can do it. I mean, I'm just like I'm setting up my Netflix and it's just like starting a core session. So it's just like you can combine a little bit of like easy uh, timing for you, or like listen to music and still work on your body and body strength. That's
That's right.
I think really
Yeah.
great.
Instead of just sitting there. That's right, exactly. Yeah. So Tanya, let's talk about a little bit of what 2018 might bring for you. I have a couple of
Yeah.
questions that came through here. Do you know what you, or actually, before we talk about the events, there's this one interesting question from Andy. What do you think your role in the team is going to be?
Good question. I am asking myself this question too because I'm not sure right now. Um, I was told in the training camp that I have um, yeah, I'm quite a sprinter. So as I know that there is kind of a gap in the team for a sprinter, it might be that my position, but I'm not sure about that. Um, but I think I would feel very comfortable just like being the domestique of the team, just like as I said, controlling the pace from the front and just like working for my teammates. I would be like totally happy with that position. Um, just doing like lead outs because I think I have like a strong last kilometer. Even though I'm super tired, I can always push hard on the last K. So I think I'm perfect for leading out a teammate. And I think I'm good for controlling the pace throughout the race. Don't know if I am in a UCI race, but that's what it used to be in the last races I did. Um, so yeah, I guess like being a domestique and just like working for my teammates would be a position that I would feel very comfortable and good with.
Okay. So speaking then of your races in 18, do you have any idea about some of the races you're going to be doing?
Um, I have like a schedule already, but the final schedule will be set up after the next team camp. Um, so that where they can see how I developed in like the 2 months and where my strengths are. Um, so it just like I'm doing some races, some preparation races in Belgium with Leah together. That's what I already know. And yeah, the schedule says uh, Tour of California and things like Tour of Yorkshire and Route de France. So a lot of races that I really look forward to, and I think I'm going to travel a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, and you probably talked to Leah quite a bit about this, and that's the other great thing about being the second Zwift Academy racer to come into the peloton, because you have Leah there who just had finished her first year, and she can be such a great mentor for you.
Yes, I'm so happy to have Leah because first of all, she's a great person. I mean, she's so hilarious. She's like easygoing. She's funny. She's really supportive. And it was right before or when we got to know that we're in the semifinals, just Leah started to contact us and telling us um, how everything's feeling and what we might feel throughout the weeks of the semifinals and the finals. And she was just like, yeah, very supportive, like from the first moment on. And yeah, I think she's gonna be my roommate in Girona, so I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm happy that I'm not the first uh, Zwift Academy girl on the team, but I have Leah besides me, and I was so happy when I heard that her contract is going further into 2018 because I was really happy to get to know her, and we have we do not have the same background, but we talked about the injuries and the running, and it's just like the same. I mean, she used to run and she couldn't anymore because of her injury, so she switched to cycling, and it's kind of the same with me. So that's something we have in common, and and now our Zwift Academy win.
Yeah, for sure. So if anyone on Discord has any other questions, we still have about 10 minutes left here. Or Facebook, type those in. So Tanya, what's your favorite type of workout?
My favorite type of workout. Ooh, good question. Well, I really like to go to the gym, but workouts on the bike, I think I love long rides in the winter. Like not in the winter because of the cold, but um, just like going easy for like a 4 hour ride with good friends, maybe a coffee break. I really love that. I think it's great. Just like because it's what I love about cycling. Just like the calm and relax your head a little bit. And I think that's something that you can do good if you're just like doing an easy ride about some hours. So I really like that.
Sure.
But on
Which
the
way of
other hand, I
cycling
like
this?
really like yeah. On the other hand, I just really like to challenge myself, and I really like to I like 1 minute efforts because it's hard. Like after 40 seconds, it becomes really hard. But then it's just like okay, I just have to keep the pace for 20 more seconds, um, and then you can relax again. So I think 1 minute efforts or 2 minute efforts. I really like to.
And how about indoors versus outdoors training sessions? Which one do you prefer?
Depends on the weather outside. I think right now indoor because it's just I do not like it or I do not like riding that much when it's colder than 5 degrees
Mhm.
Celsius. Um,
It's
but
about
uh,
40 Fahrenheit. Yep.
yeah, and especially not if it's raining or snowing. Um, So right now I prefer Zwifting and I prefer indoor rides, and that's what I did the last weeks. I was barely outside, only in the training camp, I guess. Um, in summer, outside, totally outside. I prefer, just like I mean that's the point why I love cycling. Just like get into nature. The only problem
Hmm.
is that I don't know how it is in wherever you're from. But in Germany, sometimes the car drivers are very aggressive towards cyclists, and especially because the place where I live is it's surrounded by cities. It's just like city to city to city to city. So if you cross like the border of one city, you already get to the next, and sometimes that's tough because the car drivers are just very aggressive, passing you very close, and in the start of the year, a friend of mine got killed in an accident
Oh, I'm
in
sorry.
training camp in Italy. Thank you. And that's just like when you start to realize how dangerous it is to go on your bike every day and go out in the traffic and because you're the weak person in traffic. The car won't be harmed a lot if it hits you, but you will be harmed a lot if the car hits you. So
Yeah.
um, during that time when that happened, I had big issues to go to the street, and I preferred like off-road sessions, even though I had to do it with my road bike. but I just had issues um, just like ride close to cars.
Hmm.
So that's
Yeah.
something that I really like about Swifting too. You do not have to danger yourself, um, especially if you're doing like tough workouts where maybe go all out. Um, I mean, then you're not really into what's happening around you. So it's maybe better to stay inside for some workouts.
Right. Right. Yeah, makes sense. There are actually quite a group, I think there's a growing population, at least on the women's side, of cyclists who are only cycling indoors. We're only doing Zwift.
Yeah,
I'm seeing that more and more. So the reasons
yeah,
are safety, the reasons are the area where they live, um, not having a group to ride with, and if they have a mechanical, they're on their own, all of those
yeah,
things.
yeah. And it's money. I mean, it's easy. It's just like I set up my Swift. I just like get on a bib short. I not have to think about is it warm, is it cold, is it whatever. It's just like all the same.
Yeah,
And I know that I have like a good workout in like 1.5 hours. So yeah,
yep.
it's really great. I think to have that possibility. And yeah, I recognize the same thing as you say. A lot of the cyclists I know from the area I live, they do Zwift like all the time, and they do like one of them. Um, there was this 24 hours VBR ride last week or 2 weeks ago, and he
Hmm.
did like 15 hours of Zwifting, and he rode
Wow.
like
Yeah.
500 kilometers on Zwift. So it seems like a lot of people are really into Zwifting. So yeah,
Yeah.
and I think it's great. I think it's great. It's
Hmm.
such a big community. You get your ride-ons, you get your motivation, you have your races, you have your group rides. So it's really, really great just to not feel alone as a cyclist because I had like when I lived the last city that I lived in, I did a lot of my workouts on my own every time riding alone. Um, and I think I would have lost something like Swift just to have somebody or have people to share my passion with because this is what you can really do on Swift,
Right.
I think.
Exactly. Yes. So we have about 2 minutes left here. Um, Perhaps one last question for you. What do you expect it's going to be like with the peloton? What do you think is going to be their reactions? Do you expect any um, I don't know, are they going to be a little bit suspicious, wary, or are they going to be welcoming from what you've seen? And again, you're not the first one, you're the second one. So how do you
Yeah.
think that's going to be?
Well, I am kind of scared a little bit that it might be strange getting into the peloton as like the new one and the Swiftie. But yes, this or like last weekend on Saturday, I did the track nationals, and I met some girls that I know from road racing, and that some of them are in UCI teams too, and they were just like congrats, and they were just like very happy for me, and just like yeah, I was really happy about their reaction because I was sort of scared to get there now that everybody knows I'm on the Kenyans Run team, and everybody was just like welcoming me, telling me congratulations, asking me how it worked out, how I did that, how my last month were, what I'm looking forward to. So they really, yeah, just like were nice about it. So um, that took a lot of my fear from me. Just like meeting some of the girls last Saturday.
Hmm. That's awesome. Well, Tanya, I
Yeah,
am so excited for you. I know that a lot of the ladies in Zwift are super excited for you too. So we will be looking forward to following your story and your races along with Leah. I would like
Yeah,
to thank you.
yeah, I
Yeah,
keep you
go
updated.
ahead.
I hope not to disappoint anyone. I'll give my very best. So yeah, thanks for following and for having me today.
I really, really appreciate you coming in and talking to us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure,
And best of
sure.
luck to you.
Sorry, I can't hear you anymore. Sorry.
Yeah, we are